Hi, this is James. Virginia is currently busy preparing a culinary delight, so I wanted to take this opportunity to explain to everybody how to play Vici. And this is my brand new graphics that I made up on my t-shirt. Impressive, is it not? It reads Vx equals 3D times 3t cubed. Now that looks like some pretty complicated math, but as I'll explain here in just a little bit, it's not really math at all. So, let me get down to the brass tacks. Vx equals 3d times 3t cubed stands for V, meaning V, X meaning chi, as in the Greek letter X, but we're going to pronounce it chi because it basically is spelled chi, chi. 3D, of course, means three-dimensional. 3 means triple, and T3 or T cubed means tic-tac-toe. So basically, this is not a mathematical formula, it's a statement. Vici is three-dimensional triple tic-tac-toe. And that's all that this game is. It's 3 games of tic-tac-toe being played simultaneously on the same board. That being the case, let's look at some of the characteristics of tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe, of course, has a grid. It has the characters X's and O, and it basically has the simplest of rules. I can't really even think of what one of them is other than you just put your X's and O's on there. What we did was, in order to play 3 games of tic-tac-toe simultaneously at the same time and in the same space, we altered the playing field, which is this is the grid. We turned it into the board. We altered the pieces, which these characters are X and O. We turned them into a set of 20 pieces, which I will show you. And then we added a few rules, not many, very simple. The grid turned into, basically, the grid is, here is 3 by 3. We just basically took that and put another dimension onto it of 3. So basically one grid stacked on the other grid, stacked on the other grid. And we have 3 by 3 by 3. So now we have 27 spaces in which to play instead of the original 9. That's about as easy as it gets. The 27 spaces run back and forth, side to side, and up and down. And basically, we don't use any diagonals, but I will get to that during the rules. We alter the pieces by assuming that all X's would then be black. Everything that's going to be a white, or an O, would be white. Then we took the 3 most basic geometric shapes of the square, the triangle, and the circle, distributed them by black and white, and then we made 3 of each. So basically, it's 3 sets of 3 of each of these geometric shapes times the 2 different variables of black and white, and you get what we have down here. 3 sets of squares, 3 pieces of squares, 3 pieces of triangles, 3 pieces of circles, and then each set had a wild piece added to it. And then, of course, there's black and white. So basically, you have 9 plus 1, 10, times 2, 20. A standard set of Vici has 20 pieces in it. Now, the squares, when brought into a 3-dimensional environment, turned into these cubes. The triangle turned into this tetrahedron, and the circle turned into this orb. And so, we decided to name these pieces for the top of the piece. So this has a flat top. We refer to it as a flat. This has a pointed top. Guess what we refer to it as? That's right, a point. And this one has a rounded top, so we call it a round. Flats, points, and rounds. In this game, the wild piece that we refer to as the multi looks like this, which is basically, it's the tallest piece that we have, and it's 3 planes that come together. You can see it pretty well. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, but you definitely can see it on the board. Okay, moving along. Before we start going any further, we have to make at least one definition, and that is an alignment. An alignment is 3 in a row, just like tic-tac-toe. This would be an alignment. Or this would be an alignment. Or this would be an alignment. Okay? 3 in a row. Pretty easy. The goal is to be the first person to make an alignment of each type of piece, all three of them, all at the same time. That would be one alignment. This would be two alignments. And this would be three alignments. If you got three alignments like that, all at the same time, you would win. Pretty easy, huh? Now let's get down to the rules. First rule, the biggest one, which people seem for some reason to have a hard time with, at least on the first game, is that diagonals are not allowed. No diagonals. A diagonal we refer to in this case as being, these are the three basic directions, up and down, back and forth, side to side. Any combination of the two is not allowed. Like, this would be, in tic-tac-toe, that would be acceptable. In this game, it is not because it is a diagonal. Easy enough? That's a diagonal as well. When moving through space, this would be a diagonal as well. From there to there to there is a combination. And basically, that's not allowed either. The reason that these are not allowed, and diagonals are such a big no-no, is because it adds like an extra 50 or 60 different options to scoring, and it really just destroys the whole game. So I can't emphasize it strong enough. No diagonals. Second rule is that any piece that you have, you may play into any open space. In turn, you and the other person trade turns playing, and wherever there's an open space, you can put any piece that you want to into that space. Pretty easy. The third one is that you can, once you make an alignment, you can break it. You break it in order to basically, like I would, if I had this alignment, let's look at the rounds, I would then say I broke my alignment, but then on my next play, move it back into position, and that's called a realignment. That's basically the main strategy of the game, is breaking and realigning. A lot of people think, well, I'm stuck with it. It's not like tic-tac-toe. You can move and move again your pieces. And the fourth piece is the wild piece. The wild piece that we refer to as the multi in this game is this piece, and it is three different planes coming together, which I refer to as a nexus, but it's the multi-piece. It's short for the multiple use piece. This is what makes the whole game go around. It's a wild piece in that it can represent any piece in alignment. Say if you got those two together and you put this here, that would count as an alignment. It could also make that count as an alignment. So it is basically the wild piece that counts in any three alignments. Now, the second thing is that the multi can be used in multiple alignments at the same time. So if you got it into this configuration, the wild piece would then count as both a flat and a point, and you would have two alignments at the same time. If you were really smart and really tricky, you could even use it in three alignments. So that's how you use the wild piece. It can represent any piece in alignment, and it can also be used in multiple alignments at the same time. And as I said, realignment is what makes the whole game go around, and that's when you break the alignment in order to reform that type of alignment elsewhere later in the game, and it is the main strategy of the game. And now let's get down to the terminology. I'm pretty sure most of you can recognize this quote, Veni, Vidi, Vici, as was first, I guess, quoted by Julius Caesar however many thousands of years ago, meaning I came, I saw, I conquered. Well, that was very inspirational, so we used it for this game. This is a three-phase game in which you get one alignment, two alignments, and three alignments, and when you get three alignments, you win. So when you get one alignment, you say Veni. When you get two alignments, you say Viti. And when you get three alignments at the same time and win the game, you announce it by saying Vici. Pretty self-explanatory, is it not? And of course, Vici then meaning I won or I win. It's a lot of fun to say when you get it. Other terms that we use during this are, these are some of the other terms that we use during the game that you'll hear us mentioning later. So as not to be confused, I will try to explain them right now. This term regresso means I'm going back, I'm regressing. That is used during Veni Vidi Vici. Say you had Viti, you had two alignments, and you broke one and went back to one alignment, you would say regresso a Veni. If you had one alignment and you went back to having zero, you would say regresso a nihil. Nihil means is the state of having no alignments at all. So regresso a nihil, regresso a Viti, and so that basically just means I'm going back. And then of course nihil means that I don't have anything. The setup and the all-in. These are the two phases of the game. The setup is when you first start playing. It's the first 20 plays of the game, in which all of your pieces are put into play. Up until that point, you cannot move the pieces around the board. You have to get everything on the board first. After that, you say all in, meaning all of my pieces are on the board, and then you can start moving them from space to space on the board during your turn. And the final term you might hear, but probably not, is the finale. And that is the master move that you get someone into a position where they can't block the next move and you will win. You have two different options in which to win. And instead of finishing the game, you say finale, and everyone, that proves that you know what you're doing. Kind of tricky. We'll try to give you an example of that later. And I guess that is pretty much all of the rules. I hope it helped you understand, at least in somehow, how to play the game. We're going to come back and show you a couple more examples of how to play the game. I hope you can understand the terminology that we use. I hope this helped out, and I hope to see you later. Thank you for watching.